Today's video is Lesson 1 from one of our courses, GPS Mapping with Esri's Collector app. If you would like to purchase the entire course, you can follow the URL that you see on the screen. I hope you enjoy this first lesson from one of our most popular courses. Hello, and welcome to this GIS and GPS training videos course, GPS Mapping with Esri's Collector app. I am GeoMattix, and I will be your instructor. This course has 5 parts. In Part 1, I will present an overview of the Collector workflow, its requirements, and specifics of the workflow. Part 2 covers preparing your data for Collector. This includes designing a file geodatabase for fieldwork, setting properties for the data and map in ArcMap, and then publishing a hosted feature service to an ArcGIS online organizational account. In Part 3, I will teach you how to build a web map using a hosted feature service in ArcGIS Online and how to configure the web map for use in Collector. Part 4 is all about the Collector app and how to edit new and existing features. Finally, Part 5 deals with integrating the field edits with your Office GIS. I will show you how to work with the field data in ArcGIS Online as well as get the field data into ArcMap. Please keep in mind that this technology is changing quickly. Check with Esri for the latest updates to the ArcGIS Online and Collector functionality. This course introduces a basic workflow that requires the bare minimum: a basic license of ArcGIS for desktop, a file geodatabase, and a smart device. Here I will be using an Apple iPhone. You can modify the workflow to meet your specific needs. One of the things that makes Collector so useful is that it can work with many different workflows. It works with an SDE multi-user geodatabase as well as a file geodatabase. It supports versioning. It works with ArcGIS for server as well as without it. And it works with any license level of ArcGIS for desktop: basic, standard, and advanced, though some functionality is only available with standard and advanced licenses. These include the ability to work with related tables and to create attachments to your geodatabase feature classes. Attachments are how digital photos of your field assets are associated with features in the Collector workflow. But don't worry, I'll show you how you can work with photos even if you only have a basic license. The workflow can be altered to account for using an enterprise geodatabase, versioning, ArcGIS for server, and any supported iOS or Android mobile device. So what is the Collector app? It is a lightweight application for iOS and Android mobile devices designed by Esri that allows you to take your GIS out into the field. It works online via cellular and/or Wi-Fi connections, as well as offline. With Collector, you can view, search, and edit features on an iOS or Android cell phone or tablet, and use the device's built-in GPS for real-time data collection and routing. You can also supplement the GPS with an external receiver, such as Trimble's R1 receiver, for better accuracy. The Collector app works in conjunction with ArcGIS Online, allowing you to open a web map and synchronize data between Office and field. You can take and store photos of your field assets, as well as work with related tables. Again, this technology is changing rapidly, so check with Esri for the latest functionality. Now let's take a look at working with a GIS map in Collector. I'm in the Collector app on my iPhone where I've opened one of my web map projects. This one shows mountain peaks in the Boulder, Colorado area. The peaks are designated with the orange-brown colored triangles that you see scattered throughout the map. The first thing I want to show you is my GPS location. You may see the blue dot kind of off to the right center, and when I tap the GPS location icon at the top of the screen, it centers the map on my GPS location. And if I zoom in a little closer, you can see the accuracy circle around the GPS. Let's zoom back out so we can see the peaks. And when you're working in the Collector app, you can tap on any feature to select it. So I'll tap on one of my features, and it behaves similar to an ArcMap, though it is harder to see on the small screen. The selected feature has an outline that is cyan blue. And then down at the bottom, you can see the selection set. And if I flick this list open, I see a peak has been selected. Its name is Gun Barrel Hill. And I see also that a polygon has been selected, which is Boulder County in this case. So I can click on the one that I'm interested in and reveal its information. I see its XY coordinates as well as attributes such as the name, a FIPS number, and the elevation in meters. Let's go back to the map, and I'll just zoom in a little bit. I'd like to know the distance between the peak and my location. So I'll go to More Tools and choose the Measure tool, and then I'll tap on my location and then tap on the peak, and down at the bottom you can see that it's about 4 miles from my current location. I can clear by clicking the Undo button and then Done. You can also search for tools using the Search tool. I want to find a peak that's called Red Hill. I'm interested in finding a nice place to hike, and I heard about this one, so I'll search for it on my map. And it found it. And again, I see my results down at the bottom of the map. If I flick the list, you can see that there are several features called Red Hill throughout the United States. And the one that I'm interested in is the one that's closest to me that we saw just a moment ago, Red Hill in Colorado. I can pan and zoom so I see both of these features on my map, my current location and Red Hill. And again, I can use the Measure tool to get a rough estimate of how far away Red Hill is, and it looks like it's about 14 miles or so. And I can also use the Action button located inside of the pop-up window for this feature, and there's an option in here to get directions to here, where it will route me along the streets. So it creates a route from my location to this Red Hill feature, and if I flick up the route, I'll see turn-by-turn instructions. I can see the time and distance estimates, and it will help me get to this location. So I'm going to clear the route, and I'll clear my selected feature. And another thing I want to show you is when you're working in a connected environment, that is, you have cellular or Wi-Fi connectivity, you can change your base map to any of the ArcGIS Online base maps. You see the one I'm using now is topographic, but I can change that to any of these. Let's try the National Geographic base map. And it gives my map a different feel. You may have noticed in the base map area there's an option to look on the device. If you've saved any base maps onto your device, you can use those as well as the ArcGIS Online base maps. I'll show you how you can download your own base maps to your device in this course. Other things that you can do here are add new features and work with the layers. I can turn on and off layers in my map. And there's also a bookmarks option. If you've saved any bookmarks, you can quickly zoom to that location. This is a really great bit of functionality if you have several field workers going out in the field with a mobile device and you have made a bookmark for the study area that you want each of the field workers to work on. So I could have a bookmark named Greg, another bookmark named Alice, and so on, so that each of those field workers could just click on their bookmark and see the extent of the work that they need to do. We'll be learning all about Collector in this course. For now, let's return to the lecture. So what exactly do you need to work with Collector? First, you need an ArcGIS for Desktop license. Any license will do. This is where you will create your geodatabase, prepare your data, and create your feature service. Next, you need an ArcGIS Online organizational account. This is where you can host your feature service as well as build your web map and manage your field data. You will need a mobile device, either an Apple or Android supported smartphone or tablet. If the device has a GPS chip, you will be able to use it in Collector for data collection and directions. You can also use an external GPS receiver for improved accuracy. Just make sure that it's supported. Though not necessary, you can also use ArcGIS for Server. Server provides another option for hosting feature services. If you use ArcGIS for Server, you are using an enterprise or ArcSDE or multi-user geodatabase. All refer to the same concept. And that multi-user geodatabase provides a live link between the edits you make in the field and your geodatabase back in the office. As a review, ArcGIS comes in 3 license levels: Basic, Standard, and Advanced. These used to be called ArcView, ArcEditor, and ArcInfo licenses. Any license will work, but you need a Standard or Advanced license to work with related tables and attachments. ArcGIS Online is Esri's subscription-based cloud platform. It allows you to share and use maps, apps, data, and more from within your organization, as well as with the Esri community, which consists of Esri itself as well as other users with an ArcGIS Online account. ArcGIS Online is integrated with most of Esri's products. You use it in ArcMap when you add a base map or search for addresses beyond the extent of the data you have loaded in your map. Esri's other mobile solutions, ArcPad and ArcGIS for Windows Mobile, also work with ArcGIS Online to allow for easy sharing of mobile projects to be deployed to multiple devices. ArcGIS Online is accessed through a secure connection and your data is protected. You access ArcGIS Online via annual subscriptions from Esri. Though Esri does offer a free public account, the functionality is limited and you cannot use the collector workflow with this type of account. You must have an organizational account to use the collector workflow. Organizational account prices are based on the number of users at your organization, beginning at $2,500 per year for 5 users. The subscription price includes a number of service credits which you consume to store data and use the premium services such as access demographic data and perform spatial analysis. If you are new to ArcGIS Online, you can try it out for free for 60 days. Use the URL shown here to learn more. The Collector app, which is free, is supported by iOS version 7 and later on the iPhone, iPad, and iPad Touch. On Android devices, it is supported by Android 4.0 and later on devices that meet the requirements that you see here. You can download the app as you do any other app, the Apple App Store and Google Play. Check with Esri for the latest information about supported devices. An external GPS receiver provides better accuracy and consistency to your GPS data than does the GPS chip on most iOS and Android devices. The connection between mobile device and external GPS receiver is typically made via Bluetooth, so you are free of wires. You will need some place to hold the external receiver, in a pocket, on a belt, or mounted to a pole. The added drain on your mobile device's battery can gobble up energy quickly. It is a good idea to carry a charger for your phone or tablet with you in the field. As I already mentioned, you need an ArcGIS Online organizational account to use Collector. The data you add to your web map can be data on ArcGIS Online or your portal account, ArcGIS for server services such as map, feature, tiled map, and imagery services, WMS, and KML files. However, if you want to be able to edit the data in Collector, then the data you use in your web map must be in the form of a feature service via ArcGIS for Server or via a hosted feature service on ArcGIS Online. The data must come from a geodatabase, either a file geodatabase or an SDE geodatabase. Again, check with Esri for the latest functionality. There are many workflows that you can follow when using Collector. For this course, I will focus on one. I call it the File Geodatabase workflow. Server is not required for this workflow, and you can use a basic license of ArcGIS for Desktop. The workflow begins in the office, where you use ArcMap to design your geodatabase. I call this your master geodatabase. It is where you will design the schema of your data, as well as where you will ultimately store your field data. After designing the geodatabase, you symbolize the data in ArcMap, set other properties, and then create a hosted feature service. The hosted feature service is stored in ArcGIS Online in your organizational account. You will use the feature service to create a web map in ArcGIS Online and configure the web map to be used in the Collector app on your supported mobile device. Using Collector, you can edit your existing GIS features as well as create new ones. The edits are synced back to ArcGIS Online via the web map. Using ArcGIS Online, you can view the field edits as they are synchronized from Collector. You can also make edits to the web map that your field crew can view in Collector through the process of synchronization. For this workflow, you will need to download the web map and the latest field edits to your office computer, where they will be saved in a new geodatabase. You can add the new feature classes as layers to your original ArcMap document, and then use editing tools in ArcMap to add the new features to your master geodatabase. One thing I want to emphasize is that once you create the hosted feature service from ArcMap, you no longer have a dynamic link between your file geodatabase and the hosted feature services. The hosted feature services now live in ArcGIS Online, where they can be used in web maps, both in ArcGIS Online and the Collector app. There is a dynamic link between the web map in ArcGIS Online and Collector. Both are using the same web map, but neither is connected to your master file geodatabase. You must save a local copy of your feature service and then manually integrate the data with your master geodatabase via an edit session in order to get the field edits into your master file geodatabase, a workflow I will cover thoroughly in this course. For the sake of comparison, if you are using ArcGIS for Server, then there is a dynamic link between the feature service and the geodatabase, and therefore the desktop. For this workflow, your master data reside in an ArcSDE or Enterprise geodatabase. When you create the feature service in ArcMap, you can choose to create it through ArcGIS for Server and then add the service to the web map you create in ArcGIS Online. The dashed line shows that there is a dynamic link between the service that you're storing on your server and the master geodatabase, which is an enterprise geodatabase. You add the service to an ArcGIS Online web map, which can then be consumed in the Collector app and synchronized back to ArcGIS Online, which synchronizes it back to the service on the server, which brings it back down to the geodatabase in the office. This is an easier workflow in the sense that it eliminates the need to manually edit features at the end. But as I said earlier, the workflow I'm focusing on in this course requires the bare minimum of Esri investment, a basic license of ArcGIS for Desktop, and no server so we'll be using a file geodatabase. If you do use ArcGIS for Server, I wanted to show you a broad picture of the workflow so you understand how it differs from the workflow I'll be presenting in this course. Now let's take a step-by-step look at the file geodatabase workflow we're going to use in this course. It all begins by preparing the geodatabase. This includes creating new feature classes and attributes and assigning a common coordinate system to all of your feature classes. Geodatabase behaviors like coded value domains make your fieldwork a lot easier in Collector. Coded value domains appear as a drop-down menu in Collector, which greatly simplifies data collection. Field name aliases and default values can make for a more user-friendly field experience. Next, you will prepare the data in ArcMap by setting appropriate symbology, setting scale dependency, and defining the extent of your data frame. Then you will publish the hosted service by signing into your ArcGIS online account and sharing your data. Next, you will access your ArcGIS online account through a web browser and create a web map using your hosted feature service. You will configure settings and then share the web map. Now you are ready to use the web map in the Collector app. You will sign into your account and open the web map. Optionally, if you will be working in an area with no cell or Wi-Fi connectivity, you can download the map to your mobile device and open it in Collector. While performing your fieldwork, you will be automatically synchronizing field edits with ArcGIS Online if you are connected to the Internet. If you are working in a disconnected environment, you can synchronize your field edits when you are back in range of cellular or Wi-Fi connection. Office workers can access the web map via ArcGIS Online, and any changes they make to the map or features can be synchronized and viewed in Collector. Finally, you can integrate your field edits with your file geodatabase by saving a local copy and then manually editing the new features into the master geodatabase.